from Atlanta, Georgia. I am here and ready to go to Outbound this week. And so may see a little bit of fuzz in my picture here, but that's because I'm in Georgia. No, it's because I'm working off of my laptop. So today's guest, I am so thrilled to have her. I met her back in March at a conference we were at, and she was up on stage and just really spoke to me about people and customers. Maggie Aherne, Director of Rev Ops for Kickfire, which is a part of Foundry. So she is amazing, and let's welcome her to the stage. Welcome, Maggie.
Hi, Paula.
Hello. How are you doing today? Are you in Atlanta too?
I'm not in Atlanta for Outbound. I am in San Jose. Just got back after a weekend with some family in Phoenix and back in San Jose where it's raining.
Oh, well, at least you can enjoy the rain. I love those rainy days sometimes. So welcome. I have to tell you, when I met you back in March, and that was just a few short months ago, I felt like we connected. You were on stage and just spoke my language. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So I'm Director of Rev Ops at Kickfire, and we were acquired a little over a year ago by IDG, now Foundry. So I have had the opportunity to lead our sales teams, our customer success support teams, and now really working on a new side of Foundry to help bring some new products and technology to market, and that's really exciting. So definitely work really closely with our customers, with our sales teams, and just really excited for everything that's going to be coming up soon for Foundry.
That's amazing. Now, tell me, what is Kickfire?
Yeah. So Kickfire is a business intelligence company. We help identify in-market buyers by delivering real-time intent. And so we help teams be able to find their next customer faster with the data that we provide. And so part of Foundry, really an intersection between media and technology, where they are having branded conversations for B2B tech buyers and delivering that data back through different media outcomes. So data, technology, media, all combined and together makes sense why they gobbled us up and have us part of their journey.
Absolutely. Now that's amazing. Speaking of all of that, where you're finding your best customer and all those things, what creates a client first, customer first atmosphere, or what can leaders think about when they need to put this type of what's the word I'm looking for, culture into their organization?
Well, to have the culture inside of your organization, it's the people, right? So it's having customer first people that are focused on having, really quick first contact resolution rates, which makes customers happy. We are all buyers, both as consumers and within our business personas. And good customer experience or bad customer experience, from as simple as sitting at a restaurant, sitting there waiting for your bill, and all the things that start to annoy you as a customer. The same thing happens on the business side. I mean, we know what good service looks like. So you have to have the right people in your organization that care. I hope there's no children watching, but my favorite thing is, get people in your organization that give a shit. If they give a shit, then they're going to care. They're going to care about your end user, and they're not just going to be robotic about their interactions with your customers.
And I think that is so true. I mean, I think of going to a local coffee shop or going to a grocery store. Your experience, whether you're going in and out, is really defined by the people who either give you a smile when you're there or checking you out and, making sure you have everything that you need.
Yeah, I I couldn't agree more. It's that type of catered experience, that personalization that we're doing with data. We're hoping that people feel welcomed. We're hoping that people feel engaged with our brand because we're putting the right type of information in front of them. But then when they actually engage with a human, does that human sound more like a bot, or do they
Yeah.
sound, engaged and empathetic with you?
Right. And that I talk about that in my book is, you have to be both business savvy
Mm-hmm.
and intentionally connected to your people for that experience to translate to your customers. And when you do that, it is really important for clients or for companies to understand the part that's missing right now is the intentionally connected.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, and even your book, which I have read, but the leaders connecting to the people within their organization, and being intentional about that connection, because if they're disconnected from their team members, how can they listen to that beat of the organization, be connected to that same music?
Yeah. And we talked about that a little bit. You have something that you guys are using to stay
Oh,
connected
yes,
globally.
globally. I love this. So we're getting ready to launch something new and exciting at Foundry. We have teams not only just all across the country, but actually in different countries. And so one of the things that we do to stay on beat together and really and listen and be connected is we'll launch a Spotify group session. I actually have a couple peers that are on my Spotify family plan so that we can have the most access. I'm like, we're all part of the same family. It's like sharing, different
Yeah.
different streaming logins. So they're on my family plan. But other employees that just have Spotify, we launch a group session. So all across the globe, no matter where we are, if we're all working on something together, we're literally listening to the same song, the same playlist, and anybody can change it. So anybody can be DJ. And with that, we really are just on beat together. And so we'll throw the group session into our Slack channel and jam out together. It's what we would do if we were in office sitting next to each other, listening to, 90s hip hop music in the office, or whatever was going to help keep us going.
Yeah.
Now being virtual for a lot of us, and also just being, separated across countries, that we can get connected.
I simply love that. And you taught me something new today, which in music is hard to do. So bravo. I think that's amazing how you can stay connected through a Spotify playlist that people can, you're all listening to the same song at the same time,
Yeah.
which puts you in, well, it may or may not put you in the same mood, but it will at least get you rowing in the same direction, right?
And harmonize together through our work.
And harmonize and stay in rhythm. I love that. I absolutely love that. What else could leaders do to really ensure that their people are connecting with clients?
So I have a couple things that just come initially to mind. One is finding the right customers. And if you find the right customers, those customers are willing to then give you that feedback as you grow. So post COVID, we've been talking, about what's changing. And one of the things that I think is, with employees, both with your customers and internally, you have turnover. People are, we understand that any HR newsletter you're reading, or any social media post you're seeing, just kind of the rate of people shifting organizations. So from a B2B side, you have to find the right customer, and that's an organization. But within that organization are the people that you're connecting with, and you need to not just have one champion. So if I sold to you, Paula, you might not be with your organization in 3, 6, 9 months. And now I've lost my champion. So you have to, as an organization, really strive to go a little bit more horizontal across your customer base, and within that organization to find other champions, to really connect with them and make sure that you stay top of mind and relevant and valuable to them.
And I love that, because not only are you staying top of mind and relevant at that organization, but if I went to a different one and I was your champion there, who do you think I'm going to suggest calling?
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things. I've been at Kickfire for over 10 years, and one of my favorite experiences when that old customer, the person calls up and they're now at their new company, and they say, "Hey, you guys helped us over here. I'm now at a new organization. Let's chat."
Yeah. That right there is brand loyalty. And that right there is customer experience. And so having that opportunity to really talk about those kind of things. You mentioned something just recently about, having that customer and going, what I would call wide and deep, right? Going wide and deep within an organization. What are some tips that people could do to do that?
So I think communication and empathy. Those are two things that you don't always find. And communication is, you have the opportunity to stay connected through different channels, even staying relevant in social media channels with your customers. But if a customer becomes disengaged with a vendor because they can't visualize where that organization is going and that it's not really meeting their needs to the fullest extent right now anymore, they might start to shift and start to look to see what else is out there. So if you're staying communicative to your customer base, letting them know what's coming, what's happening, what's changing, what's exciting, and anything, what's not working, right? What you're pivoting away from, what you're sunsetting, all of those things, staying in communication with your customers, but then empathy going forward. Your technology or your solution, your product may not be what that customer needs as their organization changes, and what their needs are. So, understanding they may need some changes with their contract terms or with payment options. That was one of the things I loved our organization did during COVID. Some like payment relief, right? Where your annual terms, maybe now you're paying quarterly, because that's what's going to help your organization. And the feedback from customers was just like, "Thank you. We know we need you, but we're struggling." And that empathy to say, "Look, we're all struggling, and we get it. We're all humans. We might be struggling on an individual level, not always an organization level, but you just sympathize with them and empathize."
I love that. So you brought up two good words there, visualize. That kind of goes with that old saying, people buy on emotion and justify it logically, right? Yeah. And they need to visualize what you can do for them. And data doesn't always do that. So having those communication channels like you're talking about, whether it's social media or calling, where do you find text or emails within that communication stack ranking?
I think email's the best, but I also think having some other channels that customers can get that information at the speed that they expect, right? We go back to how we buy and interact with other brands as consumers. So that might be using Slack Connect for some of your premium, VIP customers, and you can start a Slack Connect channel with them where they have premium, tier 2 support connection. That's something I think, just giving people speed for that resolution for what they need faster. But the ongoing visualization, probably email, newsletters, just a standard channel. And then how you're visualizing that on your website or putting that on your blog for customers to be able to go find themselves if they're not naturally part of the distribution list for the emails.
And it looks like we got a message here from Tina Bean. And Maggie's the best with customers. They love her.
I learned it all from Tina Bean.
Tina Bean. I love your name, Tina. So where when we talk about customers and you're talking, I've never, I have been working I was working in corporate America for over 30 years. And, people my age always, what works is what they stick to.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have learned that when something's not working, we need to reach out and learn something different. So this Slack channel for customers is something new, isn't it? Or is this something that I'm just simply not aware of since I've moved and shifted out of corporate America?
I don't, I'm not a Slack expert, so I won't say it's new, but it's similar to a chat, conversation. So it's within Slack, but you can have specific channels that are with customers and, invite their engineering teams or, really the frontline people that are engaging with your product. So it's really just a VIP channel. Actually, I'll get it from Tina Beam. It's kind of like the bat phone, right? It's that bat phone if you need that priority experience. So it's not something I would do for every single customer.
Got it.
It's really those VIP customers, but for your kind of mid-level customer base, it might be that customer chatbot that actually does go to real humans at some point too. So where they're able to connect with real people. I love that.
I love real people. I love real people. I don't know about you, but just about every chat that I see, I can tell if it's a bot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Before when it first came out, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Right. But now, you almost instantly know it's a bot, and we need to bring humanity back into the workforce.
Yeah, virtual communications, but powered by human empathy.
Yes, I love that, because I think that that's where we're missing that connection that you talk about, and it's
what you talk about, in your book with music, right? You connect to something, and when you engage with another human, you can share something about your weekend or a restaurant you went to, your kids, something that just really connects you, and your sports team. Right now, I know, sometimes I'll kick off a call, and if you know that they're a sports fan, you can josh them a little bit about their football team doing well or not well.
Yeah, the Buckeyes won on Saturday, just to let you know.
Okay, good.
You talked about too leadership, right? Where we all feel sometimes, especially women, feel like we need to follow a path or follow somebody else's experience, which, as you know, is what led me to the book. But where do you find that leaders get most of their energy from? And I think we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the call.
So I think leaders, and I'll pivot this to maybe founders even too of organizations, people that might or CEOs, they are really connected to their product. And coming from Kickfire, very, very startup, I saw that with our founders. They invested their time, their money, their time away from their family, away to this passion. And they had to prove that other people, complete strangers that they hired off, off the streets, that
off the street. I love it.
That we could be passionate about it as well. So I think certainly if they get their energy from the people they surround themselves with, as long as they're staying connected to those individuals too, because that vibe, that energy is contagious when you really surround yourself with it. So, and then you may be considered a leader in your organization. You may not be a C-level. You may not be a founder. but it's the people you surround yourself with, and it's feeding off their energy. I won't give away, your whole book, but you started it listening to other people. You started interviewing other leaders and taking their experiences, their pearls of wisdom, if you will, and starting to write a book and realize, what, you had your own voice to bring to it. Yeah. And scrapped all of that. And it's really hard as a female leader to not read other books or read other people's leadership styles, take other people's leadership advice, and not start to compare it to your own. Like you're almost mirroring it and saying, well, I don't have that experience. I didn't have that opportunity. So I can never be the type of leader they were. I can never be as successful as they were because I didn't have that. And that's just so not true.
That is so not true.
Yeah. So it's just taking your own experiences, your own walk, your own beat that you've had, and just applying it to what comes through your own heart and projecting that to others. And if you share that with others, sharing that with others is going to give them energy. And whether they're a really large contributing leader in your organization, but we're all leaders in our organizations, whether we're leading our own projects and tasks or peoples and teams, or companies themselves, we all have an opportunity to be a leader within our organization.
Absolutely. I look at the customer service team, who are speaking front lines to our customers, and they are leaders to our customers.
Absolutely. Right? I've joined some customer success calls before where, they've taken in a direction where the customer really knows, they know the customer's needs, they know the customer's use case. And I'm almost silent on the call because I'm thinking, what can I contribute? And they lead the crap out of the call because they really have listened to what that customer needs and navigated that. And that takes skill.
All right. So I'm going to break this down a little bit. It's more, from what I'm hearing from you, is you've got to have the data and the technology, but the data with the empathy, and be intentionally connected with people.
Yeah.
It's really bringing those two pieces together that are going to create a fabulous customer experience for companies, because that's what we're all looking for, right?
From a revenue stance, every company is here, to do good by their people, do good by their customers, but generate revenue. And that, that part of it is important. Finding the right customers, and investing in your people to help care about those customers, and make them good leaders.
That's where profitability comes in, right?
Yeah.
So we got about 6 minutes here, and I need to ask you to look at your playlist. And what is the one song that motivates Maggie to get up and be passionate about her work every day?
Oh, I'm going to look at my playlist.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I will just say that there are so many songs out there, everyone, that, it's not Maggie's song. It's not my song, which, by the way, happens to be Bright Side of the Road by Van Morrison. It's you finding your own song. And that's what's going to get you up. If you put it on play as you're going into work, and then you find a cool down song to come home, your moods will change. Did you find it?
I'm torn. I have listened to a very eclectic mix, and it would be a combination between either some Lizzo songs is what gets me going in the morning, or some worship songs. So I'm kind of a mixed bag with that. But depending on the day, if I need some Jesus in my life, or if I need some Lizzo music to be like, girl, get up, get dressed, let's do this.
It all depends on what mood you need to shift, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is great. I could always use some Jesus in my life, you know. It's so good. And Lizzo, yeah, I could use some Lizzo too.
Oh, she's my
Um,
spirit animal.
yeah, I am listening now to a couple of things that I just absolutely love from way back in the 80s, way back, you know, way back in the 80s. I'm like going almost to that punk rock stage again with the Cars and the B-52s and Tears for Fears and just a lot of different punk songs that just I listened to the whole way here.
That's, you, yeah, you should totally do that. Have um have you ever heard of the Sounds?
No.
So they're a Swedish indie rock band, and they give me a vibe of that kind of 80s punk rock, but they're still there's so listen to the Sounds. Give them a look.
Okay.
They're out of Sweden.
I'm going to check them out for my ride home,
Yeah.
my 9.5 hour ride home on Wednesday, and then coming back down. So if you could give three tips to anybody right now on reminding them that it is both business and people that offer profitability and revenue, what would you suggest a business leader do?
Three things. Okay. Well, if COVID hasn't taught us anything, it's to adapt, right? Adapt and be flexible with your own organization and with your customers, with your product. You know, find that flexibility and be okay with it. Be comfortable with it. I think another part would be finding the right customers and the right customers as you grow, as you change, as technology changes, as our customers change. So continuing to find the right customers, and what the right customer might be today might not be the right customer tomorrow. And the third one I think is staying connected to your employees, and taking the time out, take the time away from board meetings and standing department meetings to go down a couple levels, go within the organization. If your organization doesn't have a mentorship program, start that mentorship program, because the next generation that's not necessarily coming into the office is going to be looking for ways to find their own leadership voice, and you could be part of that.
That's amazing. So adapt and be flexible and be comfortable with it. Finding the right customer, which I think that is priority. You know, it's almost like finding the right customer who's going to fit your brand, and stay connected to your employees.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, talking about real quick, finding the right customer, is that where you come in and help?
I hope so. I have a lot of passion for you see me light up, a lot of passion for how customers use data. I'm a nerd. I admit it. I love it. And so I want people to find solutions that work for them. Yeah. And I will be the first one to say, we're not it. Go look over here. And having the industry knowledge of what's out there and what's working for customers. So I think it's finding the right customers, but it's because you're talking to your customers. So talking to them about what is working for them, and deciding as an organization, is that something you want to try to also deliver on, but or something that you can help, but also understanding like that's not our core competency. That's not what we're here to do.
I love that. I'm sorry. I just read your comment. I want to see Paula's punk look. You know, I graduated 1982, and for my 18th birthday, I had a punk rock party. So I do have a punk look.
We might have to do another episode where it's like a Halloween dress up.
Yeah. But Maggie, you are the way that you help others and the way, let's get back to that and what you do and how you do it. Like I said, back in March when I first met you, is I connected with you. You spoke to me. You have a way about getting the right people at the right place. And, you should be very proud of that. And if anyone is looking for any advice or anything that Maggie can help you with, I put her LinkedIn below. So feel free to connect with her. And if you'll stay with me for just a moment, Maggie, I'll be right back to you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone, for a great another Monday. Don't Stop Me Now. And it's kind of a song, Queen. And next week, we'll be talking with Larry Long Jr. So get ready to lift your energy and he'll be with us. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.